Welcome to the new year, everybody, and even though I am late, it still is January, a time where everybody is making new goals that may include fitness. But with the pandemic going on, many of us have to find creative or new ways to try to achieve these goals, including VR. But before we get into the best ways to achieve these goals through VR, I want you to take everything you know about working out or losing weight and just throw that away. Just throw right into the garbage because we're gonna start fresh with a new mode of thinking. I think throughout the years, there's been a lot of bad information out there and a lot of different systems and different programs, which is a little bit strange because as there's been more information, obesity rates are the highest than ever where this information comes from. So let's think about the possible reasoning on why this is happening. Why are we in an era where people are more health conscious than ever? There's more information, yet obesity remains the highest. Is it that the information is bad, or people in general are just lazier than ever? Well, for the rest of this video, let's assume both are true, which paves way for me to introduce the seamless method, hoping to achieve lasting results with minimal effort. Now, I know that doesn't sound like it makes any sense at all. With almost anything else, to achieve a goal, it's going to require a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of focus. But with those other things, once you reach that goal, you're normally finished, you're done. So then you stop and then you focus on something else. And that's the problem with fat loss. A lot of people take drastic measures, skipping meals or maybe getting gym memberships, going hardcore 5 days a week, and then they just stop and they end up right back where they started. So it looks like the real problem here is sustainability. And I get it, traditional exercises are hard. Did you know that the treadmill was actually introduced as a torture device? And to those that have tried before, don't worry about it if you fail because you are in the 92%. But if you are considering trying again, please just don't do the same things that you did before. Instead, try to pick activities which are fun or that you want to do that physically make you move. Because if you do it that way, there's a higher chance that you will keep it up indefinitely. But that's what makes VR such a great choice, because there's many activities to choose from, most of which do make you move. If you've seen my other videos, you know what I kinda look like, and honestly, I am too skinny. So you may be thinking, hey, you don't understand our struggle. Here's a little recap about me. Both my parents worked the night shift, so I was raised by my grandma. So not only I was not allowed out because it'd be too much for my grandma to handle if I were to get in trouble, but also I was constantly fed. My after school days consisted of watching TV, playing lots of video games while having snack every 2 hours until dinner time. So I was straight up fat. They actually called me Butterball in school, but you know what, that didn't really bother me. All I really cared about was Power Rangers and popcorn anyways. On the weekends, I did play a little bit of basketball with the neighbor kids and also threw around the football with my dad, but it wasn't enough to overcome the terrible eating habits and physical laziness throughout the week. It wasn't until grade 7 where my parents decided that if we were old enough to take care of ourselves, where I was going out all the time. I was playing basketball more and more with my best friend Chris, whose family I got very close to that was very much into sports. I remember them taking me batting cages as part of their family. From there, I was introduced to all kinds of different sports, including street hockey, rollerblading, biking, and swimming. While not also having the every 2-hour snack, that's when the fat really started to shed. But I didn't even notice because I wasn't really trying to lose weight. It wasn't really a problem for me. What's funny is that the fat loss was the problem because I only actually noticed when we went swimming and my trunks just wouldn't stay on. That's enough about me, but what we can take away from the story is that it was seamless. I lost fat by doing stuff that I love to do. But how can all this relate to VR? Well, if you've been looking into VR as a way to increase your chances of fat loss, chances are that you have looked into the according software as well, which may not be the best or the best for you. Let's start with the calorie trackers, talking about the Oculus Move and Your Fitness. Now remember when I said sometimes information's bad? I mean, it could be unintentional, but running these two apps at the same time, recording the same data, I always get different numbers. It doesn't seem like it matters which game I play, but Your Fitness always tells me that I burn more calories than the Oculus Move. In this example, I was playing Beat Saber. I only played 2 songs to try to figure out what was going on. I played Imagine Dragons' Believer and Ghostbusters theme song, both on expert mode, because not only the calories were significantly different between the games I was playing, but the time in the game seemed different as well. By just looking at the track length of the 2 songs I played, they total to 7 minutes and 40 seconds, which already makes me disbelieve in the move, which calculates me at 6 minutes. Even if that's rounded down, it should be 7, it shouldn't be 6. But at the same time, it wasn't quite 9. I timed myself on my phone using a stop timer, and really I was only in there for 8 minutes and 5 seconds. Which also includes the time spent in in-game menus and also the score calculated after you complete each round. But even then, how can the calories be so much different? It's not like I was squatting or waving my arms really crazy while in those menus. But what does this mean to you as a consumer? Well, it's telling you that calorie counting is very difficult, and it is true that operating at a calorie deficit will help you lose weight. It's almost impossible to know how many calories you're actually burning. On top of that, it's almost impossible to calculate how much calories you're actually eating. And then there is the BMR, which is the calories that you're burning just by being alive. Because maybe you could put in your height, weight, and then it gives you an average, but maybe you talked more that day. Maybe you moved around more that day. Who really knows? So on a day-to-day basis, calorie counting is very difficult. Now, does that mean that you should not use these apps at all? Does it mean that it's just a waste of time? Not really, but don't look at the individual numbers, look at the relative numbers between one game to the next. What you're seeing on the screen now is taken directly from the Your Fitness website, which is going from left to right and then top to bottom. In case you're looking at these on your phone, it's hard to make out the numbers, they're small, I apologize. But anyways, Thrill of the Fight is ranked number 1, and then Powerbeats VR. Now, you have to understand that these are guidelines because it depends on how you play. So it's important that if you don't know where to start, look into these games first and then see if you will like it, because I could play Beat Saber by just moving my wrists, or I could use my whole body if I'm really into the music. And there are certain songs where I don't really get into, but I just want to complete the level, and then I don't burn as many calories. As another example, take a look at Thrill of the Fight, which is 9.6, and then Creed Rise to Glory 6.4. They are both boxing games, so why is one 3 more calories per minute than the other? Well, that's because Thrill of the Fight doesn't have motion controls, meaning that if you want to go up to your opponent, you have to physically run up to them to punch them, or if you want to back off, you have to run away. But when I play Creed, I still move around a lot, and it's unnecessary, but I like it. Another thing noticeable about this list is that Beat Saber is outranking Box VR, which is now Fit VR. Both are very similar, both require arm swinging and also dodging, whether you're squatting down low or moving side to side. The lesson here is don't fall into the marketing trap. The other one has fit in the name, and also if you see O-Shape, it also says fitness as well, but it's still not as good as Thrill of the Fight or Beat Saber, which is not advertised as a fitness game. Also, I don't think this list has been updated in a while because it doesn't include what I think is the very best calorie burning software out there, which is absolutely free, called VR Workout. The first time I played this game was only for 10 minutes and I was out of breath and a little bit sweaty, but I could also play Beat Saber for 2 hours straight and not even feel tired. The cardio I experienced in this game was the most intensive I've ever felt while wearing a VR headset, but not only that, it offers resistance training in the form of jumping, squatting, side planks, burpees, and also push-ups, due to the fact that this game uses hand controls instead of having to hold your controller. But the downside to that, especially while playing on a Quest 2, is that it doesn't really know where your hands are a lot of times, especially in the push-up position where you have to coordinate your hand to reach the targets. I found myself missing a lot where I feel like I shouldn't have been missing just because the trackers were off, but really the reward comes from having a great exercise experience. I genuinely felt good about myself when I was finished. Also note that the calorie trackers do incorporate the data coming from the hand controllers as well as the headset. Now, because you put the controllers down on the table while you're playing this game with your hands, the numbers that you're going to see are going to be severely understated. This app, at least for me, made even burpees seem a little bit fun, but it may not be for everybody because what you're doing is actual traditional exercises. So if you absolutely hate it, just skip this one, which leads me into the #1 utility for fat loss, which nobody could hate, called V-Rocker. That allows you to move around using your body instead of the joysticks. This means that you can enjoy the best genre in VR, being the first-person shooter while getting a workout. But it also works with any game that has local motion control, including a personal favorite of ours, Phasmophobia. When this game first came out in October, I sunk many hours into it, and quite honestly, I gained a little bit of unwanted weight from that. I didn't get my VR till late November, meaning that I was playing this game on flat screen. But now with VRocker, I can actually lose weight playing the same exact game, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. And even though this registered as the least calorie burning exercise according to Ure, the point is I was burning calories doing something that I wanted to do, turning a negative into a positive. And especially true with me, this actually turns out to be the most calorie efficient app, because if you played Phasmophobia, you know how slow it is. So I tend to eat while I'm playing, but while I'm in VR, I don't do that. I don't know if anybody actually does eat in VR. I feel like that'd be kind of difficult. Which brings up another good point, that watching what you eat in terms of trying to achieve a calorie deficit is way more important than physical exercise. As an example, a Big Mac has 560 calories, and according to the Your website, playing Beat Saber will average you 7.9 calories burned per minute. This means that you have to play Beat Saber for over an hour to burn off that Big Mac. But under the seamless method, you shouldn't starve yourself. Instead, you should try to make better choices if you can. Instead of getting the Big Mac, maybe try Subway. If you can't eat Subway, then maybe try the Quarter Pounder or the McChicken. And if you absolutely want the Big Mac, then maybe if you upsize your fries, just get the medium fries. And if you can't do that, instead of adding 4 packs of ketchup, maybe just go with no ketchup. You see, there are an unlimited amount of ways that you can cut calories from your diet, and if you're serious about fat loss, maybe look into that first before VR or any type of other exercise and see where you can cut some. And I tried my best to keep referring it to fat loss instead of weight loss as best as I could, because I think a lot of people are too concerned about weight, but weight comprises of fat and muscle is more dense. So if you are using a scale, just stop doing that. Instead, try to take pictures of yourself week to week and see what you look like, how you're progressing, but most importantly, how you feel. Because what's the point of looking great if you don't feel great? As an example, I am 7 pounds heavier here on the right than on the left, but actually have decreased fat. That's gonna be it for me, but remember, don't try to be the best, just try to be a better you every week, every month, whatever you're comfortable with, and then you'll end up being the best that you've ever were. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.